Galilee. I want to stop the glare from the screen with the sunglasses. Okay, I'm picking it up on Israeli social media that America has moved her warships out of the Red Sea and away from the Sea of Oman Indian Ocean area. Okay, the best explanation for this is that something's up with Iran and they don't want their ships getting attacked by Iran's latest anti ship missiles. These missiles did attack American warships some weeks ago, and the aircraft carrier that got hit had to go into port in Saudi Arabia for a few days for repairs, and there were pictures of the destroyer that was with the aircraft carrier that got hit with flames. Now, American warships are usually quite hard to sink. I was told that taking down an aircraft carrier, in other words, sinking it, would take 6 or 8 missiles as a minimum. But if you hit the flight decks, there's really 2 flight decks on an aircraft carrier. You'd have to, spread your bombs or missiles out to destroy all the flight decks. Then the aircraft carrier is pretty worthless. Or if you hit that tower where they control the boat from, it's usually 3 or 4 levels. If you hit that with missiles and take that out, well, then they wouldn't be able to control the air traffic, but planes would probably be able to still land and take off, but they're very tough to take out, an aircraft carrier. But you could take them out of action, for a while till they repair it. I don't think repairing a flight deck is that serious. They would just take pieces of metal and lay it, cut it and weld it in and smooth it with a sander or something. It wouldn't be that hard. In the old World War II days, they used wood decks. So if the deck got hit, they carried a lot of extra wood. They just ripped the wood out, which probably takes an hour or 2. And then they just put new boards in. And there you go. Of course, the planes were much smaller, much lighter, much easier to take off. They had way more lift. And they were easier to land, much easier. But anyway, Netherlands also apparently had some warships in the Red Sea. They moved out of the Red Sea. These anti-ship missiles that the Houthis had, which of course came from Iran, could be hypersonic, but they're good and they get hits on ships. Okay. They could swarm attack, they could send drones in addition. So I believe what America did is move their warships out of range of the Iranian and the Houthi missiles, where they could still attack, especially in the case of Iran, where they could still attack Iran with their long-range cruise missiles, but Iran couldn't reach them. And they could launch their planes, which would refueling planes in the air could certainly reach Iran. So they also have submarines which could launch missiles from underneath the water, usually about 40 feet below. And Iran's missiles would have no effect against that. So it's an interesting situation. It probably means that these boats aren't going to be able to take down any missiles headed towards Israel, but where they were outside the Persian Gulf, I don't think they were positioned to do that well in that area anyway. The plan might be to strike Iran when they start launching, so you don't have a lot of takedowns. That's Israel's intention. as soon as they start with missiles to Israel, Israel's going to have jets going over here, and they're going to take them off the board with their oil and gas industry. So there's a lot of checks and balances. Israel has a lot of problems with their missiles and drones, and they have a lot of problems not being able to stop the Israeli stealth jets. But when you're dealing with criminally insane people like the leaders of Iran, you're going to have problems. So America has been predicting Iranian attacks several times recently, and it never came. So this could just be another false alarm, or maybe it's real. Israel is not on any type of alert I'm aware of. I'd be aware. There's nothing. And things are pretty normal here. So we got to wait and see what develops. And I will keep you posted. If you want to keep updated, subscribe. This news is very, very recent news. It will probably get out eventually, but America, I'm sure, told Netanyahu what they're doing, but it's not going to get broadcasted in the public. In the meanwhile, Israel is still hitting Hezbollah. They're still aggressively fighting in the West Bank, and they're still aggressively cleaning out the rats in Gaza. So, in terms of the Houthis, they can take out any missiles coming. Well, Israel could take out any missiles coming from the Houthis headed towards Israel. They don't need the warships to do that. They could do it. Yeah, that's not important. Also, they could be probably taken out by the waters near a lot and stuff like that. Now, I'm sure that if the Houthis start up, there'll be air attacks on the Houthis as well. And it would be unexpected right now for me to see America attack the Hezbollah in Lebanon. I think that the way they would attack would be by reconnaissance information, various intel information, and of course giving us weapons. So Hezbollah has been relatively quite disabled from our attack several days ago. So I don't think we're going to hear Hezbollah chime in very much. Now, there is a school of thought floating around that Iran may not attack Israel. They may attack the American and British bases in Iraq and Syria. This attack could come through their proxies. It could come from their proxies and themselves. And it could be a broad attack. Because if they get rid of America and get America out of the region, well, then they could deal with Israel at their leisure as they think. The Americans have been flying their surveillance craft around Iran recently quite a bit. So, the chances of a preemptive strike by America and Israel on Iran are not off the table. That's what happened to Hezbollah. We saw they were planning to launch, and we did a preemptive strike. Americans already said that Iran's getting ready to do an attack, so maybe it'll be a preemptive strike. It's way more efficient. I'm not sure. Maybe Israel will do a preemptive strike with backup from America if needed. I don't know. But anyway, just remember, this thing can blow over and nothing happens because America's missed the boat with their intel in the last month or so several times. And then again, by moving the warships and everything, I think they're quite confident something's going to happen. So make sure you're subscribed. I'll update you. Remember, I'm in Israel, so you're going to get the news and things like that a lot sooner from here than you will elsewhere. And that's what I got. And I'm